Haven't you guys heard by now? Cole Caufield signs an 8-year extension with the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know how many reaction videos you guys have watched today, but we've been waiting for this news for a while. I've been waiting to make this video for a while. So I got the news this morning right before I get called into work, and I wasn't initially scheduled to work today, but that's how the world works, right? So Cole Caufield is going to be here for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be here until at least the age of 30. And his contract extension is very interesting, of course, because it's an 8-year term, as we know, and it's about, what is it, like $25,000 less a year? Actually, not even that, less than Nick Suzuki. So Nick Suzuki's cap hit after signing his long-term deal was $7.87 million a year, whereas Cole Caufield's is going to be a cool just under that, $7.85 million per year, totaling just over $60 million for Cole Caufield. He's going to be raking in on this deal, $60.84 million over the next 8 years. Cole Caufield, by the age of 30, will be up for a new contract. So right now he's 22, if you do the quick math, and that's great news for us as Montreal Canadiens fans. And, you know, from the time Cole Caufield, before he even got here, when I really started to want to make this YouTube channel and take a deep dive on studying the Montreal Canadiens and making content about the Habs, there were very few players that I was excited about. But when I got a hold of this Cole Caufield kid, man, you couldn't shut me up about him for a while there. And you can see why, obviously, right? And from the very beginning, the doubters were concerned with Cole Caufield's size, 5'7" and 165 pounds, pretty much right out of the gate, soaking wet was Cole Caufield. And he plays 2 games with the Laval Rocket. He lights up, he scores 3 goals in 2 games, a couple of assists thrown in there, and then he goes right to the Montreal Canadiens and makes an immediate impact on the team. We all remember his first 2 goals, and you could have judged him even then too, because his first 2 NHL goals were in the 3-on-3 overtime session when he scored his first goal with Jeff Petrie actually assisting on that goal, a nice one-timer against the Ottawa Senators. And then the next game, he gets another, he really showed off how much of a sniper he is by scoring in the 3-on-3 overtime against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then from there, bang, Cole Caufield right into the playoffs, actually ends up sitting out 1 game or 2 against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. The Habs are down 3-1. And then the Nick Suzuki Cole Caufield show begins, and the Canadiens storm back to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, mostly thanks to Nick Suzuki and Cole Caufield's 2-on-0 breakaway that we all famously know began the comeback, which would eventually send the Montreal Canadiens to the Stanley Cup final with rookie Cole Caufield in hand. 12 points in 20 games in his first career. In his first career 20 playoff games, Cole Caufield gets 12 points. So let's quickly look at Cole Caufield's career stats really, really fast here. So in 123 regular season games played so far, Caufield's got 53 goals already, 31 assists, totaling 84 points in those 123 games. Now, we do know that there was very early adversity after that magical playoff run the Canadiens had in 2021. We know that at the start of the next season, Caufield would only score 1. He would only score 1 goal in about 31 games under head coach Dominic Ducharme, and then bang, the Montreal Canadiens do a complete switch. They let go of all their staff, firing Marc Bergevin, Trevor Timmins, all their support staff, and they hire Kent Hughes, Jeff Gorton, and most notably Martin St. Louis, who would go on to make the biggest impact on Cole Caufield's career, as we saw Caufield put up, 23 goals the rest of the way. So he went from getting 1 goal in 31 games to about, and finishing the season with 26 goals in however many games it was. It wasn't that many. Let's just put it that way. He was basically on what felt like a goal a game pace. So now you fast forward to the 2022-23 season, and I was at the home opener, as I continue to tell you guys all the time, and the first 2 goals of the season are scored by Cole Caufield. And you know what? Right from there, Caufield gets 26 goals in about 40 to 50 games, gets injured when he was well on pace for 40-plus goals at least last season. And now the writing's on the wall. We know what kind of player Cole Caufield is. He is an elite sniper. And the Canadiens have not had an elite sniper in a long time. The most recent one that comes to mind is Max Pacioretty in terms of just a pure goal scorer. But Caufield is even more talented than that. in terms of comparables to Pacioretty here. So Cole's 22 years old. He now is, of course, still at 5'7" and 174 pounds, from Madison, Wisconsin, or Stevens Point, Wisconsin, I should say. But we know the kind of player he is. And we also know that before Marc Bergevin left the Montreal Canadiens, that era of the Canadiens, when it comes to the media and just the fans and relating to the fans and media, basically there was no personalities seeming to be allowed. Like, they're just, players were not showing their personalities, showing how much fun they were having while enjoying their NHL careers. I mean, it just seemed like it was all business a lot of times. They were having jokes here and there, but now at practices, especially during Cole's injury, you saw him wear the big hat. You saw him wearing goofy hats and just kind of having fun. You hear Kirby Dach mic'd up. You hear Cole Caufield joking around with him. So this new era of the Montreal Canadiens has allowed and is going to continue to allow guys like Cole Caufield, who have a ton of personality, who Nick Suzuki has said countless times that Cole is just hilarious. So, you know what? This guy has really not only lived up to the hype in Cole Caufield in terms of everything that I was expecting him to be before he even stepped foot on the ice for the Montreal Canadiens, but he's living up to it now. The Canadiens have now committed to him long-term for the next 8 seasons. Cole Caufield will be a Montreal Canadien. Now, we should also talk about, which I think is interesting too, under Cole Caufield's new contract, is the terms in regards to not just the money being paid, but also the no move clause that's going to come into place at a certain point during this contract. So let's actually talk about that for a moment. So if we look ahead to the 28-29 season, well, hopefully we got a Stanley Cup, we got our 25th Cup by then. But during the 28-29 NHL season, there is a 15-team no-trade list that Cole Caufield has submitted to the Montreal Canadiens, which is now part of this clause in his contract. For the 29-30 season, there is a 10-team no trade list for Cole Caufield. And then for his final year of the deal, which is hard to believe saying these numbers, but in the year 2030-31, there is a 5-team no trade list submitted for Cole Caufield. So again, the contract breakdown, the average annual value for this deal for Cole Caufield is $7.85 million per. He's got some signing bonus money in there in the first 2 years of the contract as well, which is also notable. But again, just a massive deal for Cole Caufield and the Montreal Canadiens and their fans, including myself as a fan. Obviously, you guys see I got Nick Suzuki's jersey on because for some reason, even though I wouldn't shut up about Cole Caufield for the longest time and when he got here, I was screaming about him on Habs tonight. I was talking to him, to Dale Weiss and everything else. We actually had Don Cherry live on an interview when Cole Caufield was signed. And we asked Don about Cole Caufield and what he thought of the signing. And he had absolutely no idea who Cole Caufield was. But I guarantee you he knows now who Cole Caufield is, and the rest of the hockey world does too. Cole Caufield is going to be a Montreal Canadien for the next 8 seasons. Get excited, Habs fans. Let's continue this rebuild. We got Nick and Cole Caufield at the helm for these Canadiens. Add in Uri Slafkovsky, add in Caden Gooley, add in this 5th overall pick we're going to be bringing in soon at the draft. This is going to be an exciting team for a very long time. These guys are being trusted to produce year after year after year, and I see a Stanley Cup being risen over their heads at some point soon. So you guys have been watching tons of reactions, tons of content on Cole Caufield in this extension all day long. So for those of you that, whenever you're tuning into this, whether it's days later, weeks later, months later, I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate the support on this channel. Cole Caufield is going to be a Montreal Canadien, the Snipe Show himself. Cannot wait to see what he's going to do with his career with the Montreal Canadiens. Thank you all for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. Appreciate the support. We'll see you guys real soon. Cheers. And go Habs, go.